Hello and welcome. So, this is going to be a lore reading. We're stopped in Wade's Emporium. Master Wade. It's Miss Nice Armor, and now Heron won't let us buy anything from him. Anyway, let's see what we've learned since last time. Characters. What do we have? Brother Ferdinand Genetivi. I think we already heard a little bit about him. His return to Denerim. He returned to Denerim a little worse for wear, and was granted funds and manpower to mount an expedition to study the temple in which the urn is kept. Oh yeah, I suppose I could have gone and visited him. Still can, probably. Sten. Sten has an eye for paintings and appreciation. Might seem out of character, but he is actually an extension of Kenoi discipline. He respects artists for careful composition, a skill that is as much about where the brushstroke stops as where it begins. Maker's first children were creations with spirits, glorious beings that populated the many spires of the Golden City, and the Chant of Light says that they revered the Maker with unquestioning devotion. The Maker, however, was dissatisfied, although the spirits were like him in that they could manipulate the ether and create from it. They did not do so. They had no urge to create, and even when instructed to do so, possessed no imagination to give their creations ingenuity or life. The Maker realized his own folly. He had created spirits to resemble him in all but the one and most important way. They did not have the spark of the divine within them. He expelled all the spirits out of the Golden City and into the Fade and proceeded to make his next creation, life. The Maker created the world and living beings upon it, and separated it from the Fade by the veil. I don't believe that's... According to Elven lore, as I understand, that's would not be true. Well, this is later stuff. But basically, according to them, what's called the Fade and the real world used to be one and the same, and they were separated. But his new children would be unable to shape the world around them, and thus would need to struggle to survive. In return for their struggle, the Maker gave them the spark of the divine, a soul, and he watched with pleasure as his creations flourished and showed all the ingenuity he had hoped for. The spirits grew jealous of the living and coaxed them into the Fade when they slept. The spirits wished to know more of life, hoping to find a way to regain the Maker's favor. Through the eyes of the living, they experienced new concepts: love, fear, pain, and hope. Spirits reshaped the Fade to resemble the lives and concepts they saw, each spirit desperately trying to bring the most dreamers to their own realm so they could vicariously possess a spark of the divine through them. Yet curiously, they don't do that with the dwarves or the tranquil. As the spirits grew in power, however, some of them became contemptuous of the living. These were the spirits that saw the darkest parts of the dreamers. Their lands were places of torment and horror, and they knew that the living were strongly drawn to places that mirrored these dark parts of themselves. These spirits questioned the Maker's wisdom and proclaimed the living inferior. They learned from the darkness as they saw and became the first demons: rage, hunger, sloth, desire, pride. These are the dark parts of the soul that give demons their power, the hooks that they use to claw their way into the world of the living. It was demons that whispered into the minds of men, convinced them to turn from the Maker and worship false gods they seek to possess. This all life as their due, forging kingdoms of nightmare in the Fade in the hopes of one day storming the walls of heaven itself. And the Maker despaired once again, for he had given the power of creation to his new children, and in return they had created sin from the Maker's first children by Bader, Senior Tetra, Ostrich, 8 to 12 Blessed. And that's all for this lore reading. Thank you for watching. Do any relevant things with your choose buttons, and have a nice day.